Facebook likes partnering with Glassdoor because Glassdoor is all about transparency. When we engage in conversations with candidates, I like it when they've done their research. I like when they've been able to read reviews and learn about the company and come to the table with informed questions. The other aspect that really is valuable to us about Glassdoor are the interviewer reviews. That experience of what it was like when they came here helps me know where we need to make tweaks in our process, because we want Facebook to be a place where the best and brightest want to come and grow their careers, where they want to be a part of this mission we have of connecting the world. What I love about Glassdoor and our relationship with our account manager is that I feel like we're in it together. Glassdoor acts more like a partner and a consultant in making sure and recommending that the products we use are actually going to help us accomplish our objectives. It's reassuring. It helps you feel like you're not alone. Somebody's in it with you and is going to share in your success. Glassdoor allows us to tell our stories, to be online, and to target people who we think could potentially be a great fit to working here.
Please welcome back your host, Lars Schmidt.
It's that Morgan Freeman. How's everyone doing? Did you enjoy your break? Did you get some coffee? Did you close some deals? Who closed a deal while they were here? I'm actually curious. We've had enough deal talking. Has anybody made a hire? I see hands. Give it up. Nice, nice. All right, so we've got a action-packed couple hours to close out the summit, and I'm really excited to introduce our next guest, Anna Recio. Anna is the head of global recruiting for Salesforce, a small company you may have heard of. She has 20 years of experience leading talent acquisition teams at pioneering tech companies, including Yahoo, MobiTV, EMC, Documentum, and Sybase. She's a disruptor with a huge passion for building and optimizing high-performing recruiting teams that consistently exceed hiring demand, and for developing predictive analytics to forecast pipeline and measuring quality of hire. Please give it up for Anna Recio.
Good morning. How are you guys doing today? Well, that was a pretty awesome introduction. I hope I can live up to that. I want to talk to you today about a very important topic, about candidate experience. This one is near and dear to my heart, and I want to share with you some of our tips and our tricks in how we've gone about reimagining it. So, I'm going to play a little numbers game with you guys. What do you guys think this is? Anybody know? This is the amount of hires that we made last year. External people came into Salesforce, 6,183. And a lot of individuals might want to start thinking about candidate experience based on your hires. But to be honest with you, I'm not too concerned about this group because they're employees already, right? You know, if we caused them grief, if we tormented them, they're either over it or they've forgiven us. They're with us now. So, what do you think of this number? Any ideas what this might be? No, but these interviews. All right, so I'm going to give her a prize. 43,850 people came through and had a conversation with Salesforce. That number I'm a little interested in, because as you can see, this is a number that a lot of people didn't get the job. And so, you know, what are they saying? What do they think? What are they telling their family? What are they telling their friends? And most importantly, you know, we had a conversation with them. We must have thought they were great at some level. So most likely, they're going to come back to us in our ecosystem, either as a customer, as a partner, or if I have it my way, as a candidate. So I'm really interested in what they have to say. You know, I think about Nordstrom's a lot. Who blames me? But the reason why I think about Nordstrom's is because when I go in, you know, I could go in and smell perfume and try on shoes, and I might buy something, I might not buy something, but Nordstrom's knows, I know that it's just a matter of time before I drop my wallet there. They know it. They know it's going to happen. It's inevitable. And I want to bring that same value back to Salesforce. That's my aspirational goal, is I want people to be able to come in and have a conversation with us. I want them to be able to ask questions. I want them to be able to, perhaps, think about different opportunities They might take a job with me, they might not, but I want them to have that experience where they know that it's just a matter of time before that they come and explore an opportunity. What do you think this number is? This is a huge number, isn't it? This is the amount of applications that we had. 542,000 people sent me their resume. That is a lot of people. And clearly, we only hired 1% of these individuals. But what do the other 99% of those people think? That's crazy. That's a number that I really do care about. But this number, I super care about. All right, so what number do you think this is? Who said that? Viewers, yes, these are the Glassdoor viewers who saw our Glassdoor page. So this is also a hugely significant number. Now, the whole reason why I'm playing this numbers game with you is because if you start thinking about candidate experience at the point of just looking at the hires that you've made, you're probably really narrowing your scope a little bit too much. Candidate experience for me really starts with all those people that you're talking to. You're going to look at a shitload of people. You really are. And they're going to tell a shitload of friends. And so that is really where you need to start thinking about your candidate experience. Because at the end of the day, they are going to affect your brand. And we all know that you do not want to impede your ability to hire. As you know, as the head of recruiting at Salesforce, and as somebody who's chartered with hiring 8,000 people this year, I want to remove all obstacles to our ability to hire. So today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that journey and about what that transformation is looking like. And to really kind of hone in on that second point, I'm going to give you some scary math. Anybody who knows me knows that I love data. I'm a data girl. And this was a little math problem here that scared the shit out of me. And the reason why is because we took a look at how many negative interviews, reviews we had. It was running about 6%. But this is the part that scared me, is that of that 6%, 2% actually turned down an offer. Think about that. That is 33% of the people out there we made them an offer. These are people that we pledged our love to. These are people that we wanted to hire. And this number is crazy, 300 people. If we extrapolate that into real Salesforce terms. So think about the ROI on that. What it costs to get 300 people to the altar only to have them turn you down because they had a bad candidate experience. That's how I felt. I felt like a jilted bride or a jilted groom. I was like, how could this have happened? How can this have happened? How can we get 300 people, preventable declines, turn us down? Now we're talking about real impact. And I absolutely knew that we needed to make a change. So in good old Salesforce fashion, I asked for data. I asked for a lot of data. And I had two extraordinary data sources at my fingertips. One of them we had already been using. And it is a candidate survey that we do. We send it out every single quarter. And we send it out to anybody who's had a conversation with us. So if you had a phone screen or if you've come in. So it goes out to quite a few folks. Whether you got the job or you didn't get the job, we want to hear what you think. It's 10 questions. And we focus those questions on not just their experience with the recruiter, but also their experience with the interview team. So that's also very telling because I can distill that information down to the exact location, to the exact hub, to the exact organization. So if I've got a little hot spot, we know exactly where to triage. The second piece of data here that we have is Glassdoor. And I'm going to admit, and it's probably a little provocative to admit this at a Glassdoor conference, that at the time, we hadn't been leveraging this data. It was sort of kind of out there, but we hadn't really been looking at it. But oh boy, because when we did in November of 2015, we kind of had a collective freak out. I mean, if you can just imagine what that looked like, it was not good. Because what we learned was that only 57% of our candidates out there were having a positive interview experience with us. I mean, 57%. That means that 43% were having a bad experience with us. And that's not good. One of the things that I love most about Glassdoor is the extraordinary transparency. So, we all do, we wanted to make ourselves feel a little better. I ran out and we looked at, what are our competitors doing? And Glassdoor really gives you that ability to benchmark and to calibrate. So if you're not doing that, go and do that. And we did. And we felt a little bit better because what we learned was that we were in the middle of the pack. So we certainly had competitors who were doing much better than we were, but we also had competitors who weren't. So okay, we're in the middle of the pack. I guess that's better than being at the bottom. But are we a middle of the pack kind of company? I mean, absolutely not. I mean, Salesforce is the leader. We have a beloved brand. Candidates expect more out of us. Frankly, I expect more out of us. As the leader of this function, I certainly wanted to really kind of set the pace for candidate experience. I want to lead in candidate experience the way Salesforce leads in customer success. So once again, I knew that we really needed to have a transformation at the company. So we started, I'm going to tell you a little bit about kind of what we did. And before I get into that, I'm just going to give you a little kind of cautionary warning right here is do not boil the ocean. I know it might seem obvious, but the list of things that you can do to improve candidates and to make their experience better, it's endless. You can do 1 trillion things. And frankly, we thought of about 1 trillion things. But we really had to take a step back and apply just age-old methodology, nothing exotic here, but really start to think and diagnose what is our biggest issue. What is truly the root of the problem? What's going to move the needle really most aggressively? And so we diagnosed, we developed an action plan, and again, of really viable, impactful things that we can do. And of course, we measure our progress on that. I'm not going to lie. We also threw lawyers, guns, and money at this. I mean, literally. We had a task force. We hired a phenomenal program person, who was going to lead this expedition, and to really create initiatives and programs that would, again, really change, that perception out there for us. And, clearly, we were going to need some lawyers along the way too. So I'll get to that in just a second. So you're probably wondering, so what was the biggest issue? The biggest issue was ghosting. Aren't you guys familiar with this term? All right, well, I wasn't. I haven't been in the dating pool since, before the advent of texting, so I had no idea. So, of course, I had to look it up, and I had to look up in a very reliable source. I went to Urban Dictionary. And what I learned is ghosting is when you are actively pursued, and then all of a sudden, that person just vanishes. Poof, they're gone. And apparently, this was behavior that was happening at Salesforce. And it was coming clear, both on our Glassdoor, reviews, as well as with our own candidate survey. And of course, I went back to my team and said, hey guys, this behavior is happening. And they were like, no, not me. I'm so close to all my candidates. I take them to lunch, and I know all their moms' names, and I'm just best friends with all of them. But we were like, no, because the data is showing me something different. So again, we really had to get into, what exactly are we going to do to change this? So this was our action plan. We had to set really clear expectations. When I say really clear expectations, it became kind of the values, of our organization. And I had to go back to the team and say, our values are that we are not going to ghost anybody. End of story. Every single person is going to get closed out. So again, I'm not saying we're perfect in this area. We still have quite the journey, but it really has become, frankly, one of our very, very top priorities. And because we had the data, we're able to go back to, our recruiters and say, these are the open items that you've got, and we're using that to really hold people accountable. The second area, this is the part where we threw the lawyers at, is we developed rejection scripts. So, the do's and the don'ts of, 3 or 4 different scenarios on how to walk through verbally, a particular candidate who's not going to make it to the next stage. Verbal communication is my #1 preferred method. We really want people to have that North experience, that personal connection. But, sometimes, it's not going to really, the situation's not going to merit that. For example, if you had a 15-minute phone screen with somebody, you're probably not going to call them back and spend another 15 minutes, telling them why you're not going to move them on to the next stage. So maybe in that particular environment, an email might be a little bit more appropriate. So those are some of the things that we're doing there. And I'm happy to tell you that already we're starting to see a decrease in those reviews around ghosting on Glassdoor. So I'm happy to see that some of these things are already working. The second area was a big one as well. And this one involved our hiring managers. We're talking about grilling. And I'm not talking about like a tasty barbecue on a Sunday afternoon. I am talking about this huge disconnect between the recruiters giving these hiring managers, giving these candidates all sorts of love, right? We're telling them how amazing they are, how wonderful they are. We are just basically doing everything we can to get them to the Salesforce table, only to have them come in and then have those hiring managers just skewer the shit out of them. Like questions like, so why do you want to work here? And they'd be like, I don't. Like, you've been calling me. So obviously there was like a disconnect, right? And so we thought, how is this manifesting? We found that, our hiring managers, we started to, again, look at the data around this. When we started to run, reports on how many reschedules were occurring, it was staggering how many reschedules were occurring that were initiated from the actual hiring teams. I mean, how rude. That's like not okay. Or managers showing up and just not being engaged, not being attentive in the actual interview. Or frankly, just not really understanding what the motivations of that candidate were. So again, we knew we had a bit of an issue here. The other issue that we had was, we just knew that we needed to teach our managers that, that the tables have turned, that the market was no longer, this surplus, which is sort of, they were under the sort of a delusion that it was. They would say to me, well, Anna, you had 500,000 people, sent you their resume. And I'd be like, dumb shit, we've only hired 1%. Are you kidding me? So again, this one really chaps me. I get kind of excited about this one, I get fired up. Because my recruiters are spending so much time bringing this extraordinary talent, these gems to the table, only for them to come and not have a great experience. So we absolutely knew that we had to change their mindset. So how do we do that? All right. So a couple things. This one I think is pretty phenomenal. How many of you guys are familiar with Trailhead? Trailhead, all right, we got one person out there. Woo! Go Salesforce. So Trailhead is an internal and external basically training module that we use that basically teaches our community how to use our products, which is extraordinary, but also we have this as an internal tool. And we were able to create a couple of different training modules and roll them out to our hiring managers. And things really specific, like how to get competitive, how to really differentiate between being competitive with our products, right? There's a sales competitive, but there's a talent pool competitive that a lot of these hiring managers and interviewers just really didn't necessarily understand. What are the best practices? How to prepare for an interview by the different stages. And most importantly, how to have good manners, how to really be professional and how to really treat people with respect. So we created, these different modules. I'm happy to tell you that my entire global team is 100% certified on this. So this is very exciting. And we are now working on ensuring that all of our managers and our interview teams are also, trained on this as well. At the end of the day, it really is about, managers closing these candidates. The second thing that we did is actually kind of my favorite. And it might seem like simple, stupid to you guys. You're probably like, duh. But I hope this isn't just happening at Salesforce. And maybe you guys can tell me if it's just me. But we still have hiring managers who truly are showing up to conference rooms with the warm resume because they just printed it. And so they really have no idea, even despite all that training we just gave them. So we thought, that's just going to be a reality, of our environment. So what can we do to help mitigate that and to make sure that they're going to be as prepared as possible? So within our applicant tracking system, we dedicated 2 fields that are mandatory. You can't push somebody to interview without filling out these 2 fields. So they're kind of these gates, if you will. And in these fields, it's required to put in things about the candidate. So are they passive? Are they a referral? Are we in a competitive situation? What are their trigger points? What has brought them to the table? What's going to be important for them to really understand and for us to reinforce during that interview process? And so this is something that shows up right at the very top, of their calendar invite. So when they go to print that interview as the person's already waiting for them in the conference room, they at least see that, right? And they come in and they're able to have a better discussion, and hopefully that's translating into a better experience for that candidate. I mean, I can't say it enough. I know I already said it, but I'm going to say it again. There's just a lot more hiring managers out there than there are recruiters. So I could train the crap out of my team, and God knows that I do. But they're the ones who have to close these candidates, and ultimately these candidates are going to work for them. So them having a great experience with that interview team is paramount. And we absolutely knew that we had to double down our efforts in this area to truly change the mindset. The next thing is around embracing the Glassdoor era. Now, I'm not saying that to be a kiss ass, although we are at the Glassdoor conference and it's pretty great. But the truth is that candidates don't want to hear from the recruiter, right? They know that we're snowing them. They know that the manager's on their best behavior, we're going to beat them. So, they are going to be out there and, checking us out. They're going to be looking for that unbiased, real, opinion about what it's like to work at a company. And, I think it's important that you embrace it. You don't want to be mysterious, and, sort of buttoned up. I mean, I think that, frankly, the more, transparent you can be, the better. I think maybe we should be a little bit more like this guy. All right? I mean, candidates want to know. They absolutely do. They want to know the good. They want to know the bad. They want to know the ugly. That's the ugly. So be radically transparent. And so again, some folks are a little uncomfortable, when they see that Glassdoor rating, that might say, it's a 1 or a 2. I'm not going to lie, I cringe a little. We definitely respond, to each and every one, because we want candidates to see, that there's another point of view here. And they should see the tone of the company. They should get to view that as well. But it's good. It's good for candidates to see that, because if that is going to resonate with them, particularly if it's an employer review, and as a result, they're not going to take the job, it's probably just as well. That's exactly probably what we want. The other thing around being radically transparent is, I think I advanced a little too fast. I'm so excited. About being radically transparent is, and I'm really excited about this particular feature because I think it really is amazing, is we will pair up a particular candidate who's considering an offer with other individuals at Salesforce who are coming from their same alumni, or perhaps if they're interested in our employee resource groups. Our employee resource groups are like Bold Force or Outforce or Latino Force, so that they could have a conversation with somebody else who's totally not biased. So, again, maybe a woman wants to speak to another woman engineer, or perhaps, a Hispanic person wants to speak to a Hispanic person. They want to see what that community is like, what it's like to be supported, what are the resources within the organization. So we will pair them up. So again, they could have that transparent conversation that is, not being influenced by the recruiter or the interview team. All right, courting the candidate. I'm almost through here, but this is some of my favorite stuff here. So courting the candidate, you'll see here that we've got 3 different areas here. And the first one starts with right when we confirm the interview with the candidate, we will also send them a link to a microsite. And this microsite's pretty awesome. It's basic, but it's awesome. It tells people, some basic logistics, how to get to our office, what's the best transit, if you're driving, where to park, how to validate your parking. It also gives you some information about, the company, how long we've been around, but as well as a little bit of the competitive landscape. So if you do have, a hiring manager who does grill you, we've made sure that we've armed you with sort of just-in-time, little notes so you can sound really intelligent during your interview. And this is great because candidates really appreciate that, and our recruiters appreciate it too, because they have a resource to be able to send candidates to. If you guys want to check it out, it's salesforce.com/candidates. It really is a great little site, and it'd be easy for you guys to replicate if you wanted to. The second, or sort of the middle area here is something that really excites me because it uses our own technology, and I think it's great. I mean, candidates at the end of the day, they want to be courted, and we want to surprise them a little bit, right? We want to kind of be in front of them and make sure that they feel that they're going to have a great experience. So this second one here is based on our marketing journey technology, and it's geofencing technology, and it senses when a candidate has walked into the building. And for our particular candidates, it might say, hi, you're here, we're watching you. No, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. But hi, you're here. We hope you have a great day. Thank you for your time, and go ask the receptionist and let her know that you're here, which is pretty cool, I think, right? And then, of course, as you're leaving, it's going to also send you, a text as well that says thank you. Thank you for your time today. I hope you enjoyed your conversations. We've enjoyed our conversations, and we'll be getting back to you. And then the same technology then prompts, our actual interviewers, with, a little notification that says, it's time for you to send the candidate a thank you note. So the tables have absolutely turned. So, gone are the days where the candidate was asking us for emails. Now, we will send them a thank you note, thanking them for their time. Isn't that pretty awesome? I'm really excited about this one. All right, so how are we doing? So I'm happy to tell you that even in the course of this short 25 minutes that we've been talking, we've already gone up 4 points. You guys are amazing. Thank you. So we have gone up. We started off at 57, as I mentioned to you before, of positive Glassdoor reviews. We're at 61% today. Our goal is to be at 65 by the end of the year. So we've already kind of halfway to our goal. Ultimately, you guys know that Salesforce and I really want to lead in this particular space. And so our goal, in our journey, hopefully, will lead us to a rating of 75% or better. So that kind of wrapping it up for you guys, I'm going to leave you with just like a quick, sort of synopsis here. When you go to kind of embark on this, if you guys are, make sure you look at your whole universe. Don't just start with the candidates that you've hired. Look at the entire ecosystem, because what those people are saying is really going to affect your brand and your ability to hire. And so it's really important that you go big. The second thing is, that you absolutely want to use data, to diagnose your issues, and you want to clearly start with the big ones first. And then the last one, of course, is you want to enable not just your recruiters. You want to enable your hiring managers, because there's a lot more of them than there are of you, or frankly, of your recruiters. So you make sure you enable your hiring managers, and you enable your candidates. They want full transparency. They want access. They want to know where the warts are and the dead bodies. So you might as well show them, because they're going to find out. So you might as well get in front of that as well. And candidate experience for us really is about building trust. It's about building a strong reputation, and it's about having a loyal following. And so that is what we aspire to, and hopefully we're going to get there. So thank you very much for your time today. Thank you for allowing me to share our journey with you, and hope that you guys enjoyed that.